Hi guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. So we're going to do your week ahead reading. We are looking at your general life during the week, your love life and also your career. Sit back, relax and enjoy your reading. Hi guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your week ahead reading. We're doing Monday the 8th through to Sunday the 14th of February 2021. I wanted to show you the cards, the decks that we're using this week. So for the general message this week, we are using the Cosmic Cycles Tarot. For your career message this week via the tarot, we're using the Collider Dope Tarot deck, Colour plus Culture. This is phenomenal. It's done by Crystal Banner, as you can see. It's beautiful. I really enjoy working with this. I've only actually had this deck about a week. I've yet to kind of do a review on the channel. But it's really good. You'll see what I mean when you see the cards that come out. It's just a really exciting and fresh deck, so it's really good. Using that, and we're also using for the love reading this week, your love message for this week, the Modern Love Tarot by Exploring the Many Facets of Love by Ethany. She's a YouTuber and she creates some of the most loveliest oracle and tarot decks you'll ever see. So we're going to use this one for the love reading, and this is expressly a love reading deck, so yeah. Spiritual message this week, guys, we have the Tea Leaf Fortune cards by Ray Hepburn, illustrated by Shauna Alexander. So yeah, these are the decks we have this week. Hi Aries, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. So we're going to do your week ahead reading. Okay, Aries, so your cards are down, and the spiritual message for the week will come after the reading's done through the Tea Leaf Fortune cards. I generally just shuffle each of these piles and take a card from each one of them, so we've got 3 cards for your spiritual message. So let's get on with the message. Let's have a look at what the general message is for this week. The Page of Pentacles. So Page of Pentacles is about physical desire, but it's also a card that can indicate learning a craft, learning a skill with the Page of Coins energy, learning how to build a foundation. It can also be a card that indicates payment or money, or I don't really experience this card as, sometimes it's a small amount of money perhaps with the Page of Coins, or sometimes it can be good news. Pages are often messengers, so it could be good news about money or good news about a job or something like that. Let's have a look at what the next card is. The 7 of Cups. I mean, you've got the 7 of Cups, which is choices, but also if you look at all the choices on here, this is desire. Lots of desires, lots of options here. And you've got the Page of Coins here. Something physical. Let's have a look at the next one. I think with the Page of Coins, I think the message this week, Aries, is that there is a need for some of you Aries really to take a very practical approach, because that's what the Page of Pentacles does. It's really interesting how I've got this person with a camera, long lens, looking directly over here. It almost feels like taking a practical approach with the Page of Coins. So she's got the coin, she's kind of flicked the coin in the air and she's looking at it. And for me with the Page of Coins, it's looking at the coin, but it's looking at it, looking at a resource, looking at something practically. It feels like choices with the Sun become clearer, okay? Because you can see also with this lady with the camera looking over at the 7 of Cups, and she's clearly seeing the options here. So it's almost like with the Page of Coins energy that there is, because I don't see pages as helpers, but they're far more, they're either messengers or they're learning something. With the Page of Coins energy, it's a card about learning how to be methodical and how to be practical. He's just learning it. The Knight would be the one then that would be quite methodical and practical, because the Knight has more experience than the Page. But this is a learning approach, and it's learning how to be practical and how to be realistic and how to be grounded. So it feels like taking a practical approach will help you, I feel, with the Seven of Cups and the Sun, to see those choices. Perhaps there are choices that you need to make far more clearly, or to see what you need to choose in a far more clearer way, perhaps with the Sun energy showing there. The Temperance energy. So Temperance is all about moderation, but it can also be about blending and learning how to adjust, but it's also about balance. Let's have a look at the next one. King of Coins energy. See, I feel that this is... Temperance also means cooperation and collaboration. So perhaps some of you guys, the message is about collaborating, perhaps with this Temperance energy with a King of Coins. This would be somebody who's quite powerful, who has money, who has status, who's quite powerful. You see that he's sitting on a chair, he's sitting before a star, he's recognised, he's in the public eye. The Sun also kind of says to me positive choices as well. But it's almost like you've got to, it's helping you to, because if you look at her, she's looking through a lens, she's looking through a camera. So she's quite clearly seeing the choices that she needs to make. Perhaps the choices that you need to make are about collaborating with this king. Working in collaboration with this King of Coins energy showing here. But I feel that with the Page of Coins energy, that you need to look at the value. That's what I think that I'm going to say actually with the page. Because whether you're a... Usually what I find is that when you have, say for example, a court card. Now, there are so many tarot decks out there. There are millions of them. And not all court cards hold the coins in the pentacle. So sometimes when you get a pentacle and it's holding a coin, and if you look here, I'm just going to hold this card up to you, and you look at her flipping the coin, it could also be a gamble. Could also be a gamble as well, because I'm just thinking to myself, she's flicking the coin. Feels like she's taking a gamble on something here to me, even though this isn't the Wheel of Fortune or the Fool. It does feel like that. Let me just have a closer look for myself. Yeah, it's like she's saying heads or tails. That's what it's like. So it might be, even though, and usually what I also find with tarot Aries is that we can interchange the cards. So sometimes, yeah, your Page of Coins might be the student card. It might be somebody who's learning a practical skill. It might be somebody who's an apprentice, for example, with the Page of Coins energy. This might be a young estate agent, or somebody who is learning about agriculture or conservation, or, you know, they may be learning about architecture, because Earth represents ground, earth. So we're looking at buildings, for example, or food, or this could be a young chef or something like that. We don't have to associate the Page of Coins with gambling. But I've also seen the Page of Coins show up as a card of protection, especially if the coin is being held close to the chest. So for the fact that this person here, and I think because the page is so young, it's almost indicative, Aries, of your lack of experience in a certain area. So the universe is really saying to you, you need to kind of flip a coin on this. Perhaps there's a need for you to take a gamble here in order to be able to see those choices a bit more clearly. Because I think that you've got a choice to make here with the Seven of Cups. And obviously you're having, because everything looks so good. Oh, there's so many good opportunities here, and you're like, I don't know which one to choose. But in order to see the right one, or in order to see this choice, or which one you're going to choose a little bit more clearer with that sun, the girl looking through the lens at this, you need to flip a coin. So I think that this week, I think the message is perhaps there is a need because you can't choose. I think it's something to do with, it's either to do with reconciling with this king, or it's to do with collaborating with this king, because the Temperance card can be collaboration, but also Temperance card can also be reconciling, and it can be just understanding, and what's the word that I'm looking for with Temperance, because Temperance is about blending. Okay, so when we're looking at blending something, we're looking at bringing two opposing forces together. Temperance is very similar to, say, for example, the Chariot, where you've got these opposing forces and you have to bring it all together. So some of you guys, it may be a case of do I align forces with this? Do I join forces, perhaps, Temperance, with this King? Either in a relationship, do I forgive, perhaps, with the Temperance energy showing here? Perhaps for some of you guys, do I call it with this King? But I think it, yeah, I think really it's one, either, because Temperance is also tempering, so it's cooling things down. So I just get the impression here that you have a choice this week, and it's a difficult choice to make. Well, the message is, this could have been going on for a long time as well, Aries. But I think that the message is that for some of you, Aries, if you've got a choice to make, and it's difficult to make here, and perhaps that choice is to join forces with this King, in whatever capacity that takes for you, then you, with this Page of Coins energy, I feel that this is more about taking a bit of a gamble. You may have to just flick a coin. It may be as simple as that. You may have to flick a coin and say, heads, I join forces or I reconcile with this King. Tails, I don't. But I think by flicking a coin, by taking a bit of a gamble here, you're going to be able to see that choice a lot more clearer. Because I think without perhaps doing something like that, it might be really difficult. So I think really the message is it's going to be a choice that you make concerning an individual, and whether you reconcile or whether you join forces with this individual. It might be a business person, it might be a business thing that you're looking at here. Maybe you're looking at joining forces with somebody who works in business or whatever the case may be. Either way, it's going to be a flick a coin. It's going to be flicking the coin. You're gonna have to flick a coin on this, because there's no way that you can make a decision because you're so confused. I don't know which one to choose. But I think that you've got several options, perhaps, especially if it's collaborating with someone or people or a group. You've got several opportunities or several options of collaborating or working with a particular outfit here. And it may be that every one of them, because if you look at all of these cups here as well, Aries, every single one of these cups looks good. It's ice cream. Who doesn't like ice cream? Well, a lot of people don't like ice cream. I like ice cream to a certain extent. Don't eat a lot of it, though. But they all look good. It's just too much. It's like none of them look bad. It's like I'm looking at it and you're just kind of like, oh man, but it all looks so good. Which one do I choose? So perhaps there's a need in order to see the choice clearly, especially maybe when it comes to working with one of these choices, which is the King of Coins, seems to stick out more prominently for you. Perhaps the best thing to do this week is just to flick a coin on it. Heads you do, tails you don't. Maybe there's a need for you to kind of, as a process of elimination, flick a coin, you know, to reduce the amount of options, to wheedle the options down. Let's have a look at your career advice this week. The Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is a card about pursuing your goal, but it's also a card about being active and taking action. The Knight of Swords can also indicate fights and challenges that are faced. It can also indicate leaving and exiting. I just really get the sense that there is now a time, the message this week, Aries, is to exit something that is, with this Four of Coins, the Four of Coins represents the comfort zone, especially when it comes to career. It's great when you've got a stable job with the Four of Coins, you've got money coming in, but usually the Four of Coins, it's not just about stability in a job, it's also about being comfortable where you are. So this is the comfort zone and not wishing to go out of that. And I feel that the message this week is it's time almost to cut away from that with this Knight of Swords energy showing here. Okay, it's time to kind of cut away from that, and it's time to probably look at doing something new. Let's have a look at what the next card is though. The Two of Coins. So it's time for a change with this Two of Coins. Now I use the word change with the Two of Coins energy here. It's time to kind of shake things up and alternate things with this Two of Coins. It's time for a switch with this Two of Coins energy. Perhaps you want to switch to something more creative, perhaps, Aries, with the Moon energy showing there. Okay. Because the Knight of Swords can be exit. Yes, in a work reading, it is a card about pursuing one's goals. you know, being active orientated. This can be about communications, things like that. But I feel with this Four of Coins being the card about staying in one place, the comfort zone, and the Knight of Swords really wanting to move out of that comfort zone. It is time for some of you guys to move out of a comfort zone. It's time to switch things up with this Two of Coins energy. You've got the Moon and the Six of Cups showing here. The Moon is often reflecting. The Six of Cups is the past. I mean, for some of you guys, it may be time in your career to reflect on things that you've done in the past, probably. And perhaps that's why it's time to, with this Knight of Swords, to move out of that Four and to switch things up with the Two. Because the Two of Coins is switching things up. The Knight of Swords is exiting. The Four of Coins is staying in one spot, so being comfortable in the job that you do and not wanting to move. But we're seeing with the Two of Coins, it's kind of switching that up. The Moon card can be about a self-reflection, and the Six of Cups can be about the past. So I think it's time to start reflecting on, it's time for a little bit of self-reflection on the things that you've been doing in the past. And I think for some of you guys, you might have become very comfortable. So it may be that you've become very comfortable with a particular type of formula, and maybe it's now it's time to kind of move out of that energy and to try and switch things up in terms of career. Let's have a look at the final reading. We're going to have a look at your love. So King of Cups, male, female. Not your sign, but this is somebody who's loving, somebody who's caring, somebody who's gives unconditional love, somebody who would be very supportive. Let's have a look at the next one. Oh, this is nice. I see happiness with an individual here. This King of Cups. I see real happiness and real joy with this individual here. I see being relaxed. Hopefully this is relaxation. The Hangman isn't always a change of perspective. Sometimes it's just being completely relaxed. And actually the Hangman often can show up as just relaxing and being able to be yourself. You know, sitting in bed, watching TV with your partner, eating popcorn, just not having to make an effort. Six of Swords showing here. No, Eight of Wands, sorry. So we're getting some movement here, some fast movement, or just moving. I love this version of the Eight of Wands. She's grabbing somebody's hand with her. So I see a relationship here that just seems to be transcending and moving upwards with this Eight of Wands energy showing here. Oh, but we've got the Four of Cups, which is interesting. Do you know what? I think that there is a change of perspective in this relationship. I think the message is that there'll be a change of perspective or just a change of position on a relationship here. I think for some of you guys, perhaps we start off with the Four of Cups energy, because it feels like the Eight of Wands is moving out of that Four. It feels like this energy here is being released with the Eight of Wands. I mean, I could read it in another way. I could, because you've got good and bad in this spread, to be honest with you. But I feel that you're going to transcend this energy. I think if some of you guys have been feeling bored or unhappy, or perhaps unrecognised maybe within a relationship, I feel that this is going to be transcended here. I feel with the Hangman, and also the Hangman can be suspension and things that aren't moving, while we're seeing with the Eight of Wands it lifting. So it may be for some of you guys, maybe with a Hangman, a relationship hasn't been moving. I just feel that there's going to be, and perhaps with that Four of Cups, there's been some discontentment in a relationship that's not been moving. With the Hangman, things have been stuck for a certain time. But I just feel that this is being lifted with that Eight of Wands showing there. I know that the Hangman is the major arcana, and that holds greater sway in a reading. And we do have the Sun as well. But even the Sun, I feel, do you know what I get here? I get with the Hangman and the Sun also it feels very spiritual with those two cards as well. I get some form of a spiritual awakening in terms of a relationship here, concerning an individual here.
and there is a need to shift out of this energy. So I'm going to actually read it like that. That's how it feels. When I looked at the cards together, there was such an aura about both cards that I just felt to myself. And also we have a tree. And trees are usually very spiritual symbols because they come from the earth. So I actually feel, and then we've got this dove, which reminds me of the dove of hope, like something really hopeful here. So what I'm getting here is that the message for love, Aries, is that you are now entering into a time where there is this beautiful spiritual awakening, I think, with both cards, in which some of you guys might have been, and I think that this spiritual awakening concerns male or female, King of Cups, in which some of you guys may have been feeling bored, perhaps unrecognised, just generally unhappy. Maybe you've been bored with the partner's friends, or bored with kind of the, you know, the group that you're in with the partner, whatever the case is. You're just bored per se within the relationship, unhappy. But I feel that this spiritual, and I think that almost, it feels like when I say it like that, Aries, is that there is a sense of, how can I explain it? There's recognition here of who this partner is. So sometimes in relationships, people can get bogged down by the idea that I'm bored. You know, we don't do anything exciting. We don't do this. We don't do that. I need excitement, blah, blah, blah. I'm bored. But sometimes when we do that, we fail to recognise the goodness in who the person is. Yeah, the relationship may, after a certain amount of years, have become very boring and become very staid. But it's very easy to expect there to be excitement all the way through in a relationship. And sometimes that's not how relationship works. Sometimes, well, most of the times, relationships go through changes like the human body. You know, we start off as babies and then we grow into 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-olds, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And we're the same people, but we're changing all the time because that's what age does. And that's the same thing. It's just like a bottle of wine that has been maturing for years on end. It has more body, it has more, you know, depth to it. And that's what's going on here. I think that you're probably dealing with somebody who's now at a stage where he or she is just really comfortable within the relationship. And they're just kind of coasting along within the relationship, Aries. And I get the impression that some of you guys may have been very bored with that. You know, you've been quite bored with the whole sort of, we do the same thing, we meet the same friends, we do the same activities. But I feel that there is going to be, the message for you is that there's going to be this spiritual awakening where you start to just kind of accept that with the Hangman as well. And you start to understand, yeah, the relationship isn't what it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago, but we're transcending, we're changing. And I feel that this is going to help lift you out of that energy there, the Four of Cups. So I think that that's the message, which I think is a very lovely message to have in terms of love. So here we go. Let's start again. The general, let's do a recap of this, and then we're going to get your spiritual messages for the week, Aries. The first thing to say, I think, in terms of the general message is that some of you guys are having a difficult time choosing. The choices that are laid before you are all very, very good. There's nothing bad. So it's really hard for you through the process of elimination to say, right, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. And it wheedles its way down to the one thing that you want. Now, there is a prominent person here that you could be perhaps collaborating with and working with or reconciling with or whatever the case is, despite the fact that you've got a lot of choices showing here. And I just feel that for some of you, Aries, the choice is so difficult because everything looks so good. But I think the universe is saying that if you're experiencing this, whether it's to what boyfriend or girlfriend do I choose, because I've got loads of opportunities around me and every single one of them is gorgeous and good, or, you know, I have a chance to work alongside this incredible wealthy business person. They know everybody. They can get me into TV. They can get me into this and that. But then I'm also got all of these other opportunities that are equally as good. I think really in order to see whatever this choice is clear enough with the sun looking in at the Temperance card through the lens of the camera, it may simply be a case of flipping a coin. I know it sounds crazy, but that may be the only thing that you can do to arrive at this choice, because it may be, Aries, that in a way you're running out of time. You really simply cannot choose and you're running out of time. So maybe the only thing that you can do is just flip that coin. In terms of work, I think if you've become really comfortable, you know, you're in this comfort zone of the Four of Coins, and there's a sense of, I don't want to leave what I'm doing, I want to carry on doing what I'm doing. But it's not because you genuinely love it, but it's because you're comfortable with it. I think it's time to move out of that energy with this Knight of Swords, out of it. I think it's time now, the message is to switch things up with the Two of Coins energy. I think it's time to reflect on the past, perhaps. Reflect on what you've done in the past. How has it benefited you going forward? Because I think if it's not really benefiting you in the now, then it's time with this Four of Coins energy and the Knight of Swords to move out of this energy here and to switch things up, because I think it may benefit you going forward. Finally, in terms of love, it's simply a case of some of you guys have been feeling really bored, I think, with a particular partner. But I think that the message is that it is now time. I think there's going to be this spiritual awakening that comes with the Sun and the Hangman, in which I think that you start recognizing that there is, you know, relationships aren't just the one thing or the one way. Your partner probably holds so many more qualities. And I think that once you recognize that, this is going to lift you out of this kind of, you know, this kind of doldrums energy that you're in concerning the situation. All right, let's have a quick look at what the spiritual message is for the week. So, Universe Spirit, what is the spiritual message for Aries for the week? In one card, what is the spiritual message for Aries for the week in one card? Okay, there we have the one. Spiritual message for Aries, number 2. Spiritual message for Aries. Oh, right. That flipped out. So we know that there's a deep friendship with someone of the same sex coming in. And what is the message from pole 3? Message from pole 3. Okay, let's have a look at the other two. So we know that the second message was, I think it's really just focusing on a deep friendship with someone of the same sex. Okay, so that's message number 1 for this week. Message number 2 is Cat. There's a two-faced friend. Okay, so be careful of a two-faced friend. Perhaps this is the person that you've got the deep friendship with of the same sex. So there may be somebody who you've got a deep friendship with, somebody of the same sex, but they may be two-faced. So be very careful of that one. And Leg, stepping into a new experience. Okay, so I've never seen this card show up before, actually. So I think the message this week, Aries, is if you've got a deep friendship with someone of the same sex, be careful, because they may be a bit two-faced. Okay, if you've got an inkling that they're kind of being two-faced, or there's some inauthenticity concerning this individual, I think it's really important to take notice of that. And also the message this week is some of you guys are really very close to stepping into a new experience, which is lovely. All right, that's your reading for the week, Aries. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. If you'd like your own private reading, click on the link in the comment section below and have a great week. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.